You ever wonder why someone who clearly has feelings for you, someone who you know still thinks about you, doesn't reach out? You know, he desires you, you can feel it, the vibe is strong, the connection is so real, and yet there's only silence. No call, no message, no effort. Why? Because his ego is leading the way. See, wanting you isn't enough to push a man to act. Emotions by themselves don't decide actions. If they did, he would have already called you. But inside of him, there's a struggle happening. One part of him wants nothing more than to be near you, to hear your voice, to be part of your world in any way he can. But then there's the other part, the scared part, the voice in his head that says, if you reach out, she'll know you care too much. And then you lose power. Men are taught in many ways that having control means being strong, that the one who feels less has the upper hand. And for some men, that belief goes so deep that even when they badly want to reach out, they stop themselves, not because they don't care, but because caring deeply feels risky. It makes them feel exposed. It makes them feel weak. And being that open is a risk they just don't know how to take. Now you might think, but if he likes me, why does he see it as weakness? Why not just act on it? Because for many men, showing emotion feels like giving up control. It's like stepping into a space without any protection. And truthfully, a lot of men haven't learned how to be confident without hiding behind their ego. They haven't realized that real strength isn't about holding back affection. It's about having the bravery to show it. So instead, he starts this mental game. He tells himself that if he waits, maybe you'll reach out first. Maybe you'll be the one to break the silence so he won't have to risk his pride. Or he tries to believe that by staying distant, his feelings for you will fade. That if he doesn't give in, those emotions will disappear. But the truth is, they don't. They stay with him, they hang around, they don't just vanish. But his ego still won't let him take that step. And this is the trap so many women find themselves in. You can feel his energy. You sense that he wants to reach out, but he doesn't. So you begin to wonder, did I do something wrong? Does he not care enough? Maybe if I gave him a hint, he'd feel safe to come forward. But that's where you must be careful, because once you start feeling responsible for making him feel safe to act, you start lowering your own value. A man who truly values you won't let his pride block him from being present. He won't play mind games with his own emotions just to hold on to an illusion of strength. When a man is really sure of himself, he won't try to hide what he feels. He'll show it, and he'll act on it. And that's the type of man you deserve, not the one who is so stuck in his pride that he would rather stay quiet and suffer than take the chance to show you he cares. So what do? Do you wait? Do you send a message? Do you give him a little sign so he knows it's okay? No, you let him work it out on his own, because a man held back by his ego isn't ready. If he can't get past his pride, then he's not prepared for the kind of love you're looking for. What you do is stay strong in your own space. You understand that his silence says more about his inner battles than about your worth, and you don't lower yourself to match that kind of energy, because the love you want, the love that's real and equal and built on mutual respect, doesn't come from ego battles. It takes boldness. And if he doesn't have that yet, then he's just not ready. And that's something you need to fix. Have you ever noticed how some men seem confident in every part of life, but when emotions come in, they pull away? It's not that they don't care. Often it's the opposite. When a man deeply wants you, when you're in his thoughts, in a way he can't shake, that's often when he steps back, and not because he doesn't want you, but because the feeling of losing control scares him. Men are taught, whether they know it or not, to always be in control in their jobs, in their goals, in their feelings. There's a quiet message that needing someone too much makes you weak, that being open is dangerous. So when a man realizes how much he wants you, when his mind always finds its way back to you, when being without you affects his mood, when just thinking about losing you makes his stomach drop, his first reaction isn't always to come closer. Sometimes it's to run, because moving towards you means entering something unknown, and the unknown feels like losing control. The truth is, many men like to feel like they're leading their lives. They want to believe they are the ones making the choice, not being chosen. But the moment he realizes you have a certain hold over him, it can feel like he's no longer in charge, and that feeling scares him. He knows that if he contacts you, he's showing his true feelings. He's revealing his heart. And what if he does, and you don't feel the same way? What if he opens up and gets hurt? What if he gives you everything and you pull away? This isn't just about romance. To him, it's about protecting himself. His survival instincts tell him, stay in control. Don't let someone else play with your emotions. Don't be the one who loves more. And so he waits. He says to himself, if she wants me, she'll make the move. He starts to believe that if he just waits, the feeling will fade. Maybe he'll forget about you. Maybe you'll become just a memory. But what he doesn't see is that holding back doesn't take the feeling away. It makes it stronger. The pull grows. He thinks he's being strong by not reaching out, but really he's avoiding something. And that's where it gets more tangled. The longer he avoids reaching out, the more he believes his own story. He builds a version in his mind that protects his pride. Instead of facing the truth that he's scared of feeling too much, he starts to believe, maybe you're just not the one. Maybe if it were real, it wouldn't be so frightening. He turns his fear into logic. And after that, it becomes even harder for him to reach out because now he's built a whole explanation in his head for why he shouldn't. But deep down in the quiet moments when his guard drops, when he's lying awake at night, looking at his phone, when he hears a song that reminds him of you, when a memory of your laugh plays in his mind, those are the times when the truth comes through. He still wants you, he still craves you, but he's afraid of wanting too much. And this is where many women ask the wrong thing. You start thinking, if he wants me, why doesn't he reach out? But that's not the real question. The better question is, why are you waiting for someone who's scared of going after what he truly desires? Why are you giving your power to someone still stuck in his own fears? Because a man who is ready, a man who can face his fear of losing control for something real, will not let fear stop him. He'll take that chance, he'll send that message, he'll move forward. The truth is, trying to control everything is a false sense of safety. Love, connection, deep feelings, none of that survives where control rules. The men who avoid their emotions, who pretend not to care, who don't take action because they're afraid of looking weak, they're not in control. They're just stuck in fear. And if you're sitting around waiting for them to move, you're stuck in that fear with them. So you have to remember, a man who really wants to be with you will find a way. Not because he's fearless, but because he's willing to go through the fear. Because he knows what he could have is more powerful than what he might lose. Because he understands that real strength is about being brave, not about being in charge. And if he can't do that, if he lets fear hold him back, then he's already lost something way more important than control. He's lost the chance to have something real with you. And that's not your loss, it's his. If he's waiting for you to chase him, it's not because he doesn't want you, it's because he's trying to keep the upper hand. See, attraction isn't always about who wants who more. Sometimes it's about who's brave enough to act on it. And for some men, the real game isn't just about wanting you, it's about testing if they can make you prove how much you want them. It becomes a back and forth of ego, of control, of watching your moves. If he feels you're into him, if he senses that spark, he might step back and think, let's see how far she'll go. Let's see if she'll call first, if she'll keep trying, if she'll put in all the effort. And the moment you step into that space and begin chasing, something shifts. The balance changes. And suddenly you're no longer on equal footing. Instead, you find yourself always trying to get his attention, trying to keep him interested, trying to figure out what he wants. The strange part is, he probably does want you. He likely thinks about you, wonders what you're doing, maybe even checks your social media to see if you're doing fine without him, but he won't message you. Not because he doesn't miss you, but because he wants you to feel his absence so deeply that you'll be the one to reach out first. Now ask yourself this, do you truly want to be in a situation where you need to prove your worth to someone who already knows what you bring to the table? Because that's what this really is. This isn't about love, it's not about some deep connection, and it's definitely not about fate. It's about power. It's about one person deciding they'd rather be chased than do the chase. And when you play along, you help that idea grow, that your attention is something he doesn't have to work for, just wait around for. But let's change the story for a moment. What if you don't chase? What if you don't call or text first? What happens if you refuse to play the role he expects you to? That's when it gets real. That's when you find out whether he was actually interested in you or just enjoyed the feeling of being wanted. If he truly values you, if he honestly desires you, your silence won't go unnoticed. He'll feel it. He'll start to wonder why you're not reaching out, why you're not making an effort, and if he still doesn't reach out, then you've already won, because you've just seen that he wasn't after you, just after the attention. Too many people get stuck here, waiting, hoping for a sign. They overanalyze every word, every delay in response, every message that never comes, like there's some hidden message in the silence. But the truth is simple. If a man really wants you, you won't be confused about it. A man who truly values someone doesn't just sit and wait while risking the chance of losing her. He won't let pride stop him from reaching out. He doesn't play mind games when he's sure what he wants. So if he's not calling, not texting, not making a move, even if he deeply desires you, the real question is not about why he's quiet. It's about why you're still waiting. Have you ever wondered how someone can want you, miss you, crave you, and still stay silent? It doesn't seem to make sense. You feel the connection, the energy, the pull, yet there's no message, no call, nothing. And it makes you question everything. If he wants me, why isn't he showing it? Let's talk about something few people want to bring up. Emotional baggage, the past, all those things he hasn't healed from. Because sometimes it's not about you at all. It's about what he hasn't dealt with. Here's what usually happens. He meets you, he feels something real, maybe something he hasn't felt in years, maybe never. But instead of stepping toward it, he pulls away. Not because he doesn't want it, but because it wakes up all the parts of him that he's tried to. Old heartbreaks, rejections, disappointments. And instead of facing those things, he runs. Not because you're lacking anything, but because he's still carrying everything that came before you. The truth is, that kind of emotional weight can kill something before it even starts. He might want you more than he can even explain, but if wanting you means he has to face what he's been ignoring, he'll ruin it before it ever has a chance. He'll hold back, because moving forward would require him to deal with emotions he's buried deep. And here's the hard part. He might not even know that's what he's doing. He might tell himself it's bad timing, or that he's unsure, or that he has too much on his plate. But deep down, it's fear. Fear of being hurt again. Fear of losing control. Fear that if he opens up and it doesn't work out, he'll have to feel all that pain again. Our minds are wired to protect us. And if he's been hurt before, his brain will see desire as a risk. So even when he craves you, something inside tells him to stay away. Because wanting you means being vulnerable again. And for some, that's just too much. They'd rather stay in the longing, the wondering, than actually take the step and risk another heartbreak. And this is where people get confused. They think if he really cared, he'd fight for this. But the truth is, people don't fight through pain they haven't even faced yet. You can't rush healing. You can't force someone to be ready. And that's where many go wrong. They think if they just love him enough, wait long enough, he'll finally see what's right in front of him. But it doesn't work like that. Readiness doesn't depend on your effort. It depends on where he is emotionally. No matter how much he desires you, if he hasn't worked through his past, he'll still find a way to keep his distance. That has nothing to do with you or your worth. It's about whether he can even let himself accept what's being offered. Think of it this way. Imagine someone who hasn't eaten properly in days. Now you place a beautiful meal in front of him. You'd think he'd dig right in, right? But sometimes he hesitates. Because eating again means remembering how long he went without food. It reminds him of the pain, the hunger, and that can feel overwhelming. So instead of eating, he steps back, not because he doesn't want the food, but because it's too real, too confronting. That's how it is with someone who hasn't healed. They may want you deeply, but to act on it would mean facing everything they've tried to ignore. It's safer, easier to just sit in longing than to actually step into something that requires emotional effort. It's easier to keep you as an idea, someone perfect and untouchable, than to have a real relationship, one that requires consistency, effort, and honesty. So what should you do? Stop making his silence mean something about you. Stop hoping that if you wait long enough, he'll finally come around. Understand that you can be everything he wants and still not be chosen, simply because he's not ready. And that's not something you can fix. You deserve someone who doesn't just want you, but is also prepared for you. Someone who doesn't just think about you, but actually shows up. Someone who doesn't just crave you in secret, but proves it in action. The more you give your time to someone who stays distant, the more you're teaching yourself that waiting is love, that maybe almost is enough. But it's not. You don't need someone who only thinks of you. You need someone who chooses you every single day. There's a difference between being desired and being picked. A man can want you deeply, think of you constantly, and still never reach out. And you'll sit there asking, if he feels so much, why isn't he here? But the truth is, sometimes you're just a dream to him, not a real part of his life. And that difference matters, because dreams are easy. They don't ask for anything. In his head, you're perfect. You say all the right things. You make him feel good without demanding anything back. In that fantasy, he doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to risk being turned down. He gets to keep you safe in his mind, untouched by reality. But real love needs effort. Real love asks him to be present, to communicate, to be consistent. Real love means dealing with your real self, not just the image he created. And if he's not ready for that, he'll avoid it. Because bringing you into his actual life would break the illusion. It would mean seeing you as a whole person, messy, complicated, and real. And that requires more than just desire, it requires bravery. And not everyone has that. Not everyone is ready to turn their fantasy into something real. Some would rather dream than act, but you. Don't be the one waiting around in silence, hoping a fantasy becomes reality. Be the one who knows her worth, who knows that being wanted is not enough. You deserve to be chosen. Every time, a lot of people make a mistake thinking that if he wants me this much, then surely, sooner or later, he'll take action. But that's not how it really works. Wanting something without doing anything about it is just a passing thought. It's a temporary feeling, a quick emotional high that gives him excitement but changes nothing in reality. And you are not meant to be just a passing thought in someone's mind. You are meant to be valued, made a priority, and genuinely pursued in the real world. The problem is, when you become someone's fantasy, it can feel addictive. You can feel how much they desire you. You notice signs of interest, and you start to believe it's only a matter of time before he finally acts. But days go by, then weeks, then months, and nothing changes. You come to see that it was all happening in his mind. He imagined countless moments with you, but none of them happened in real life. And that's where the real risk is, because if you stay in someone's fantasy for too long, you begin living in it too. You start waiting. You keep space in your life for someone who has never truly earned that space. You hold on to hope that maybe one day he'll take action and show how he truly feels. But the truth is, if he really wanted to, he already would have. What's actually happening is he's picking the comfort of imagining love instead of doing the work real love needs. Real love can be uncomfortable. It means showing up even when it's difficult, having deep talks that aren't always easy, and making brave choices. Not every man is prepared for that. Some men prefer to keep their fantasies, because fantasies don't ask for anything in return. A fantasy doesn't need responsibility. It doesn't push for change. It doesn't ask him to grow or leave his comfort zone, but you do. And that's why he stays right where he is, stuck between wanting you and never truly making you his. So what can you do about this? You stop playing along. You stop supporting the idea that one day he'll change, when his actions clearly show that he won't. You stop overthinking his unclear texts and mixed signals, trying to find deeper meaning in them. You stop mistaking what could be for what actually is. Because possibility doesn't make you feel cherished. Possibility doesn't bring you comfort. Possibility doesn't show up when you need someone to. Reality does. And the right man for you will never leave you feeling unsure about how he feels. The strongest thing you can do in this kind of situation is take back your sense of reality. Stop guessing what he might be feeling and look at what he's actually doing. And if he's doing nothing, then that is your answer. A man who really wants you in his life will do whatever it takes to make it happen. He won't let fear, pride, or bad timing get in the way. He won't just think about you. He'll bring his feelings into the real world. And if he's not doing that, then he's not your person. So the real question isn't why he hasn't contacted you. The real question is, why are you waiting for a man who only lives in his own mind? Even if he deeply wants you, even if he craves you so much that it keeps him awake at night, he might still not act. And the reason is simple. He's not ready. That might sound obvious, but it's where many people get stuck. They wait for someone who has already decided not to move forward. Even if he never says it clearly, a man can feel a strong pull toward you. He might think about you all the time, but when it's time to take real steps, he pauses. And that pause leaves you feeling unsure. If he wants me, why won't he reach out? But maybe the answer isn't about how much he wants you. Maybe it's about what he's truly capable of. Wanting and being ready are not the same thing. A man can want you with all his heart, but still know deep down that he can't offer what you deserve. Maybe he's emotionally unavailable. Maybe he's putting his energy into his career, his personal goals, or dealing with his own inner battles. Maybe he understands that being with you would mean leveling up his life, and he's just not ready for that. And here's the difficult truth. If he won't level up, you don't want him stepping into your life. It's easy to dream that one day he'll want you so badly that he'll change. But desire by itself doesn't build a strong relationship. It doesn't create effort, loyalty, or care. If he's not in a place where he can fully be there for you, then his desire means very little. And that's the part you have to see clearly. Think about it this way. Just because someone wants something doesn't mean they'll work for it. A man can want success, but still waste time. He can want a fit body, but still avoid the gym. He can want love, but still push it away when it comes close. Craving something doesn't mean you're ready for it. Being ready means taking action. It means going toward what you want, not just silently wishing for it. This is the place where a lot of people get stuck, waiting in the middle, hoping someone will finally get it together. But if someone is really ready for you, you won't have to wonder. You won't need to decode what they say or try to read between the lines. A man who is ready makes things obvious. His words match his actions. He doesn't just want you quietly. He shows up loudly. Now, let's bring the focus back to you. At the end of the day, the bigger question isn't why he's not showing up. It's why you're still waiting for him to. Why are you holding your life back for someone who's already shown in his own way that he's not ready? Why are you giving your energy to someone else's lack of clarity when you could be stepping into your own confidence? If someone isn't moving closer to you, you don't need to run after them. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to stand still, hoping they'll suddenly recognize your worth. Instead, you need to see that their hesitation is actually your clarity. And instead of wondering why he's not ready, start focusing on the fact that you are. You're ready for something real. You're ready for someone who picks you without question. You're ready for love that doesn't ask you to wait or guess or doubt. So let go of the idea that one day he'll come to his senses and realize what he had. If he does, that's his own lesson to learn, not yours to teach. Your responsibility is not to keep holding space for someone who won't do the same for you. Your job is to move forward. And when the right man shows up, he won't make you wonder whether he's ready. And he'll prove it with every action he takes.